Pablo Ruiz Picasso was born in Spain, but spent most of his life in France. Picasso is known for co-founding the Cubist movement along with his friend Georges Braque, who was a Frenchman. Picasso was also an inventor of constructed sculpture. He co-founded collage. During Picasso's life, he experimented with all kinds of things. He made conscious choices to go away from the realism that he knew as a child and expand into different horizons. In this video, I'm going to talk about a few of the different artistic periods that Picasso went through. Next time, I will have another video, and I'll put a link in the description to my Picasso Part 2 video, where I will finish up his artistic life. The first period of Picasso's art journey was before 1900, basically his childhood. And he painted landscapes, portraits, still lifes, all kinds of things where he honed his skills and painted people he knew and places he'd seen. And he did a fabulous job. By the time he was 15, he'd mastered realism, more or less. I mean, everyone can always improve. The Blue Period went from 1901 to 1904, not a super long period of time. But by that time, Picasso had moved to France. Charles Casagemas was Picasso's friend, and he actually died, which is why Picasso's Blue Period is characterized by a blue tint to a lot of his work that really showed off and signified that he was super sad that his friend died. So when we look through art, sometimes we'll have sad things happen, sometimes we'll have good things happen. But if you paint through it, if you do your art through all of the good times and the bad times, your art will show a breadth of experience that's important. In 1904, Picasso started his Rose Period because he fell in love with a beautiful woman named Fernande Olivier. Fernande Olivier took him all throughout France. He was influenced by French art and his exciting time with his girlfriend. His paintings took on an optimistic hue, a rose hue. In 1907 to 1909, Picasso took a trip. He went to an African art museum, and there he saw a wide variety of African masks with super simplified shapes and interesting colors, and he was so excited by what he saw. Bam! Primitivism influenced Picasso's art. And so he started at this point making conscious decisions to go away from realism and to let some of those other influences come into his art. And so you're going to start to see changes in Picasso's art, where once he had a really realistic view of the human face, he started to experiment with shapes and maybe having the eyes be triangles and simple shapes here and there, circles and cubes and different colors that are flat and just simplified. And he was experimenting with all of these different things. And so a lot of what he's done has been influenced by the experiences, as we've seen, that he had as he traveled through life. I'm going to give you some quotes from Picasso that shows that you can find inspiration anywhere. Everyone has something positive that they can say, that they can add to the world. First, he said, learn the rules like a pro, so you can break them like an artist. He also said, every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. And this is one of my favorites. It took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to paint like a child. So those of you out there who are children, who are starting your art journey or who are continuing, be inspired, be excited, because the world needs art from children. The world needs art from people who are fresh, who have different experiences, and who want to share that with everyone else. It's project time. We're going to do a very simplified self-portrait that mimics some of the things that Picasso saw in his primitive African art. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to take a box. Here's my handy dandy Walmart box that I got from my Walmart order. I'm going to recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Yes, I'm going to recycle this box. When I cut it up, I also got an egg carton and I cut it into little pieces. So here's the bottom where the egg usually sits. Bloop. And then I cut up all the little pieces from the egg carton. And so I have my egg carton pieces in different shapes. And I have these little pieces cut out. And then I took some cardboard and I ripped off the top, and so you could see the corrugated texture underneath. And I just cut out lots of different shapes, sizes, circles. They don't have to be perfect circles. Just cut out all kinds of different shapes. And then you can look at your list in the comments for your art supplies, okay? But one of the things you need is, doesn't have to be expensive, just a cheap brush, but I like bigger the better, okay? Bigger the better. So this one's probably a 1-inch, super cheap brush. You're gonna need some glue. I use super glue. You could probably use Gorilla Glue, other kinds of glue. Whatever your mom has on hand is great. I had super glue on hand. And then you're gonna need some acrylic paint. Okay, it doesn't have to be this brand. I'll link some acrylics and other supplies in the description below. And now for the project montage. See you on the other side. I take out my art, I spread out everything on my table. I have my paints. You can pick whatever kind of paints you want. You can have, these happen to be the paints that were left over from when my kids did this project. So I had blues, primary colors, blue, yellow, green, red, black, white. So I get my cutout pieces and I lay them out in front of me. And then I take my handy dandy brush, make sure it's a little bit damp, not super wet, not a dry brush. You need to paint your base first, your face shape. So one of the things that you need to do is look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and look at the basic shapes of your face. For example, if I look in the mirror, if I looked right now, I could see on my face, I could see circles in my irises. My eyes might be, if I broke it down into a simple shape, would be triangles perhaps, or sideways boxes. My eyebrows would be a crescent shape, kind of like a moon shape. My mouth could just be 2 half circles. My face could be kind of like a diamond shape, or just any face shape that you want to make into your cardboard. It doesn't have to be exactly you, okay? So then you're gonna cut out pieces of cardboard, or you're gonna find pieces of whatever shape that you want. So I could have a big triangle for my eye. I could have a little triangle for my eye. I could add a little circle plopped onto that triangle, or have it even slightly off center. I could have a silly nose that's poking out of the cardboard. I could have a flat triangle shape of a nose. So I could do a triangle nose. I could do a circular nose. I could do my face smiling, or I could do it frowning, or I could do it just normal or silly. That would be crazy. But anyway, so you get your shapes. You look in the mirror, you find your basic shapes. Now it's project time. So now that I've painted all of my little pieces, I've painted the little circle for my iris, I've painted my nose a crazy red and yellow. I flipped over a piece of cardboard, so one of the irises is the corrugated side. That means it has the lines in it and the texture. So I just painted that really fast. I took a piece of my egg carton and I ripped it up and made teeth out of it. And then I put all kinds of different colors on my base face shape. I had yellows and blacks and blues and reds just to make something interesting. Interesting textures, interesting designs. The way I did this worked out probably even better than the glue, is I had some extra paint, and so I smeared it on the back kind of thick, and I just pressed them down and I let all of that dry together, and actually it worked out. I'm gonna show you the finished product, not only mine, but my kids. In fact, I like my kids a little bit more than mine. So here is my self-portrait. So I had a crazy little iris, and I had a big, weird textured iris, and I had a smear of yellow because I took it and I smeared it down like that, and so there was a yellow behind. It was kind of crazy. And I had this big, wonky, funny red nose, because sometimes I could squeeze it and I could make my nose all red, just in case I had a cold or something like that. And then I had big yellow teeth like this. That's my crazy, strange, fun, African primitive art, Picasso-inspired self-portrait. Now for my kids, because this is more interesting and more exciting. One of them did this. So he got two egg cartons, and he painted the middle parts of the egg cartons and made his eyes. And then he had I love that he put little ears on. Here's an ear and here's an ear. Whoop. Just like that. And he had his nose and his fun mouth. And so he can put that on the wall, and it's a 3D image, and it's super fun. This is by my daughter. I don't know which way it goes, but she said this is a mouth, this is an eye, and a nose. Just crazy, but so fun. Okay. This is from another of my sons. He decided this would be his one eye. His one eye. He has more than one. He's got 2, like a normal human being, but one eye, and then he's got rosy cheeks and a sideways mouth. Because sometimes Picasso would take features, and he would take someone looking face on, but he would paint them with an eye that looked like it was from the side, or a nose that looked like it was from the side, but right on the front of the face, so like this. And so that's what my son decided to do. The next one I've got from my youngest, and I love it. The paint was everywhere. He had a cool mouth with orange, 2 different egg carton eyes, and this is his self-portrait. And then last but not least, I love his little yellow teeth and his awesome like red mouth and nose and eyes, and he's blonde. So everybody's gonna come up with something different, and that's fantastic. Don't be afraid of creating, just do it. And you'll have so much fun doing it. Art principle of the day is breaking things down into simple, basic shapes, just like Picasso did. And those are the basic building blocks of all art. So if you're gonna start to draw a human being, instead of just drawing what you think you see, start with some basic shapes. Do an oval for the head, do a triangular or trapezoid shape for the torso. You can do long cylinders for the legs, for the arms, little teeny box. So my hand is a box shape, plus another little bit here. It's kind of a box shape. When you do any art, break things down into simple shapes and then build on those shapes to create anything, to create horses, people, buildings, all kinds of things. But that is what you do. You break things down into basic shapes. And so, art tip, here's what you should do every day. Hone your skills, and you start by doing circles and basic shapes. And that is all for today. Please like and subscribe. Like. That's how other friends find me. So please like. You could consider subscribing, but most of all, please like. And I'll see you next time. Bye.